This is a real human skull. It used to belong to the Fraternal Order of Skull and Bones and possibly still does. And it serves as a marvelous centerpiece for one of the central lessons of secret societies, that of mind surgery. The top of the cranium has been removed so that an object metaphor could be made about placing new information inside of the skull of the recipient. It was then sealed back up again. This is how those in power view the effectiveness of their orders. We won't have to imagine a human head with a hole drilled into it hanging from a nail like a kettle because an illustration like this has already been provided for us, from antiquity no less. But we do have to imagine what comes next, and that is the insertion of the scroll. Upon this document are the orders of the official, of the magistrate, of the politician, of the employer, of the entertainer. These are rolled up and tucked into the aforementioned hole while the true nature of the scroll itself is kept obscured. And the severed head is how they view you, the recipient of these orders. You are a living doll that is to be filled with their dictation, nothing more. And you have been otherized because you do not belong to the same club as they do. Therefore, you are what is known as a Hylic or a Golem. You see, you have not been brought to enlightenment as they have. You did not receive the same secret education as they did in the back room of some lodge or fraternity house. It is essentially as if you are a sort of clay that is to be shaped by the hands of the masters. This is what is known as a golem in the Hebrew tradition, which is the source from which all secret societies trickle down. Out of its mouth spews a roll of ticker tape. They are apparently very proud of the fact that they can tell you what to say and think. The golem can be seen in the modern meme of the NPC. This stands for non-player character, and it is a contemporary spin on an ancient classic. Ironically, the golem resembles the authorities more than it makes one think of the common man. You see, they are bound to a collective, and they draw their authority from something called the text of the tradition. These are typically legal documents and religious texts. And not so long ago, these were openly one and the same. They still are, but this is kept an open secret. My local courthouse even has stained glass windows as if it were some kind of temple. The Old Testament is a book of law that discusses civil issues as well as moral ones. And while modern legal code is separate and ultimately the authoritative document, the Christian Bible is still in use by the court systems. Instead of being a public source of law, it is privately studied by its practitioners through Masonic organizations. This means that separation of church and state does not exist in our country, and perhaps anywhere in the Western world. Neither does freedom of speech either, for that matter. Just ask any Mason about his true opinion on the esteemed organization, and I think you'll find that they don't have very much to say.